Well, hello there. Good afternoon, everybody. How are you today? Where in the world are you? How are you watching? What's your weather like? All that kind of stuff. Hope you had a lovely day this morning on Sewing Street Sewing already. Just to let you know, couldn't go live on the Sewing Street YouTube channel. Sorry about that. Technical issues. I am, however, live if you wanted to watch on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. Thought that was probably going to be the best option. So come and say hello like Yvonne has. Hello, how are you today? Gillian, hello, and Susan, afternoon to you too. Now, last Sunday, we launched some new panels on the Sewing Street channel. So I want to give you a reminder of those. And I started making up one of the boxy bags, which, of course, I haven't got here with me. So I thought I'd finish off making the bag. So if you wanted to see the beginning bit, you can have a look back on last Sunday show, which would have been the 11 o'clock show. So we'll carry on with that, but we also have some round tubs, and we've got some new panels coming out on Tuesday with the same size and design. So I thought I might make one of those up if you've got time as well. So if you want to pop over and say hello and have a chat, if you've got any questions, hello Sue and Letitia, and another Sue, Alon, hello. She's studying. Sally, hello. Alan, Sharon, Ellie, Susan and Gillian and Sharon and Debbie and Janice and Haley and Anne and Helen and Kirsten and Debbie and Anne, another Anne, and Jane and Gail. Oh, I can't even make it to Franklin's. I was down at Franklin's in Ipswich yesterday, me and Kim, doing a book signing, and it was lovely to meet so many of you. So thank you for taking the time and trouble to pop over and to say hello as well. I hope you enjoy your books. I'm good, thanks, Alan. How are you? Hello, Anne Sylvia. We've got a few Anns today, haven't we? Jackie, hello to you. And oh, thank you, Darlene. So happy to see you joining the Sewing Street team again. Never really left, to be honest. I've always had my products on the website. So yes, it is nice. They're a nice bunch of people. It's a nice place to work. Hello, Fran. Nearly finished tailored fully lined trousers. Oh, nice. Working on Santa from my autumn collection. Thank you. No, couldn't do it. Couldn't do it, Nikki, but I am on my YouTube channel if you want to watch on your large TV. Sorry about that. Hello, Yvonne. It's freezing this morning, Margaret. It was freezing. We had, oh, hello, Letitia in France. We had a lovely morning this morning. We had a visit from a local lace making group to the office. So that's where I've been all morning this morning. So it's nice to meet them. And Anita has made me, I'll show you in my live on Wednesday, actually, she made me a really beautiful initial in lace, just tiny, oh, it took 2 days to make it. The letter is just beautiful. So I'll show you that on my live on Wednesday. Thank you, Janice. Jean's working on a table runner. Hello, another Sue and Anne. Sue says, I have workroom envy. Not sure about the coffee today, Sue. We'll see how we go. No, not Sewing Street today, just this one. I'm back on Sewing Street on Tuesday. So I kind of on Sewing Street, but on the Sewing Street Facebook page today. So working from home. Hello from thundery side. Oh, is it rainy and thundery? Oh, my dog doesn't like thundery. Anyway, so last Sunday we brought you these panels. They're still on the website. There is a link. Is there a link? Did I put the link on? I haven't put the link on Facebook. Oh, I shall put the link on Facebook in a bit. Might do it afterwards. If you go to the Sewing Street Facebook page, let me see if I can find it, because you might want to buy something. Emily. See if I can find it now. And I should put it on Facebook, and that'll be a link to everything that you're going to look at here. Like that. If we do that, and I do that, and I copy that, and then I go over here and write a comment and stick it in there and do that, that is the link I've just put in the comments to everything that we've got for you today. Because that's the nice thing about Sewing Street and the panels and things we do for them, because they print them, so they're there all the time. They just stay on the website. Sun through the shed window. No, that's Gary's lighting. All the windows are shuttered closed with blinds up, so he does like to light things like it's a lovely sunny day, even when it's miserable outside. Hello, Darren. A snowy day in Montana, says Debbie. Oh dear. I don't like this. I like looking at it. I don't like being in it. Frightened of falling over. Oh, I'm glad you're getting better, Alan. Oh, now then. So this is the trio of tubs panel. There's everything you need apart from your interfacing. So that's the actual panel. In fact, you've got more than you need. There are three tubs in two sizes, and there are labels there as well, because we thought it might be quite nice if you can't see what's in them, if you do actually label them. So those are the three behind me there. The smaller ones are both the same size, and then you've got the larger one. I'd use a fusible craft fleece, so no lighter weight than an H640. If you're going to use Bosal or a foam stabilizer, then I would trim the seam allowance down so you're not sewing through the Bosal. So cut out your panel pieces and then cut your Bosal to about 1/2 inch smaller, 1/4 inch smaller all the way around. You've got a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So yeah, you do get instructions with this one. I don't have them here, but you do get your instructions, and the pattern matches the quilt block holder as well. So if you wanted to coordinate your room, my friend is Edwin. He's the current project from the Half Yard Sewing Club. I didn't realise he was sat there, to be honest. So yes, that's who he is. If you're a Half Yard Club member, you would have got the project through yesterday. Hello, Caroline and Christine and Janet. Oh, thank you, Emily, mate. Just put the link up there. Dolores and Maryland. Hello, bit nippy at Maryland apparently. Hello, Bridget. Waiting for someone to read my thread. They didn't say the panel for the storage holder. Instead, I got lots of brown jersey type fabric. Oh, what are you going to do with that then? You can't really make a brown jersey storage holder, can you? They'll sort you. Claire, hello. Susan, what a treat. Oh, thank you. Wetting Bolton. Oh, hi, Linda. Ruby Coco. That's Linda's dogs. We like to give them a whistle and keep them on their toes. Hello, Laura. Angela, hello to you too. Oh, thank you very much, Letitia. Still thinks she's confused, but she's not sure. Right, so the quilt block holder is this. So same print. So you can be very nicely coordinated. And this is what that looks like. Again, this does come with instructions. Now, when we did this, that is the front and the back of the holder. You'll need your own lining fabric. And then there are the ties and the handles and a pocket. And I did think when I was writing the instructions up after I got the panel, to make a rather nice bag out of that. So I did. So you've got the quilt block holder here, which has pages in it. You will need wadding. I used a fusible fleece for the cover. You could use wadding for that if you prefer. And your lining fabric. And the bag that's hanging up over there is another alternative. So you don't have to make the quilt block holder. You could just make the bag if you wanted to. And this is available in 2 colours. I've got both of them here. That's fine. And it's printed. Now these were kind of designed to go with mine and Melissa's book, which is A Year of Quilting, because these quilt blocks are the same as some of the blocks that are in the book. It's that way up. So the idea behind this is that you put some wadding on the back of it, and then if you want to, you can stitch around each one of these shapes. If you want to, you can just stitch around the larger ones, and it looks like you've pieced it together and quilted it. So it's a really lovely effect. Find the quickest route. So have a look at the prints when you first get them home, and you think, right, I can go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 down there and across, and just figure out where you're going to go. So you're not spending too much time cutting and starting again. Like with this one, I went 1, 2, 3, and I did all those bits, and then went down the other side. But you figure it out, and that's the back of it. And these two pieces are the handles. Just say on them. So that's the handles, either whether you use it as a bag or you use it as a quilt block keeper. Those are the ties, which you won't need if you're making a bag. And then this section here, there's a pocket on the inside of the quilt block keeper, or there's a pocket on the inside of the bag. So that's what that is. I can't remember what they're called, but if you click on that link, it'll take you straight through to the Sewing Street website, and they'll all be on there. And this is the second colour option. So this one's just the same idea, but it's got a deeper background to it. Oh, hello, Sarah. How are you? Alana's making the block keeper at her mum's. Thanks for signing the book. Oh, good. I don't think you asked me to sign the book, but I thought I'm going to sign it anyway. I'm going to put my name in it. I just imagine people sometimes getting books home and thinking, what's she written in my book for? She's written in my book. But yes, I'm glad you like it. The rest of your books should be going up very shortly. So I think all of the books that you ordered from Sewing Street should be on their way, because they came directly from Search Press and they're normally pretty quick. Anne's just got back from a craft fair. What you bought? What you bought? Now also, to go with these panels, well, that's the tubs, showing you that, are the 5-inch squares. So this is what I made the big bag with at the back. So if you just love the prints, but you don't want to make the tubs, and you don't want to make a bag, and you don't want to make a quilt block keeper, then that's just the panels on their own. You could go for a couple of those or even more and just sew them all together and make a big quilt. Nice idea. It's nice quality fabric, this, isn't it? I'm really impressed with Sewing Street fabrics. They're very nice quality. So we'll make up a tub with that in a bit. The boxy bag is instructions. So for that we used Kim's new fabric range, which you can see some bits of behind me. There's the boxy bag. I don't think I can reach it, but it's over there. I might disrobe my mic in a minute and take you over there. Christine's got the 5-inch panel. What are you going to do with it, Christine? Yes, I am, Letitia. I'm going to finish the bag that I started making on Sewing Street last Sunday, and I'm going to make it one of those round tubs. Alana says it'll make a nice machine button cover. It would actually, wouldn't it? It would, wouldn't it? Oh, hello, Tracy. Tracy's not Michael. Michael's her son. Hello, Jean. Just remembered her on this afternoon. Yeah, I shouldn't have been here. I should have been on Sewing Street's YouTube channel. But it went a bit wrong, so I'm here. So I'm here anyway. But we're here. Oh, thanks, Jane. She loves Edwin. He's got a bit of a pose going on. Right. I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you a quick preview of something that's coming up on Tuesday, which is these panels here. Little girl's dress. Not a little girl's dress pattern. It is a huge log cabin panel. While you're just looking at this, I'm going to disrobe, so excuse me if you hear a rustling on my microphone. So I can move over here and get the bag to show you. Okay, I'm ready. I haven't got the microphone. Oh gosh. Oh, that might have been a little bit noisy. Did I drop some on the floor? Just putting that back on. I can just hold the line in a moment. There we go. So, this is a log cabin panel. And like I said, it's massive. You can't buy it yet. It's not going to be there on the link. But this is coming up on Sewing Street on Tuesday at 9 o'clock in the morning. Got a couple of colour options for you. And we've got a project idea for you as well. Deliberately big, because that would make a really nice cot quilt size on its own. But again, there is a bit of a seam allowance around the edge if you wanted to make it bigger. If you go for a couple of pieces and join them together, you'd be able to do that. But I was thinking with this one, it doesn't just have to be something patchwork. As in you're quilting it, you're making a quilt. So the little girl's dress behind me here is just treating it like a piece of fabric. Oh God. Oh, sorry about that. That was a bit unexpected. Yeah, hopefully they will, Christy. Because Sewing Street print these, so they can print as many as they like. Just have a closer look while I have a cough. Sorry about that. You don't know me coughing, do you? I'm not sure what the colours are called, but there are 2 colour options for it. That's the second one there. So that's the log cabin twilt. It's a twilt. But we also have 5-inch square panels. What do you do with these 5-inch square panels? Sewing Street sells so many of these. I'd love to know what you're making with them. So same print but without the log cabin effect. And then that's the greeny coloured one as well. And they do have matching fabrics to go with them as well. They've got not Make and Believe. They have the Rose and Hubble, Misty Blue and Biscuit go very well with those as well. So those will be on the show on Tuesday as well. So that's Big Fat Teas. That's what's coming up on Tuesday. I do have something else coming up on Tuesday, which is quite new and very exciting. Frank can't watch on Tuesday. If you have a look later, because they might just keep adding more stock. You never know. Sylv says I'm not Michael either, just in case anyone is wondering. I'm pretty certain. I'm not confused about that. No, I'm not Michael either. I'm Debbie, just in case anyone is wondering if I'm Mike. I'm not Michael either. Like the log cabin blue coloured panel. I'm glad you like it, Sandra BP. This is Kim's design again. She's a very clever lady, my daughter. So that is those. Then, and again, this is these are some of the things that we do have available still. The Lone Star cushion pattern. This was made up with Kim's fabric. Of course, you can make it in any fabric that you like. And they're only $6.99. You can download them as well, so you can get them straight away. And this one is the hexagon cushion, which was kind of inspired by the cushion I made out of the Alice in Wonderland bunting panels. It's a bit like bunting, but it's got a flange around it and a nice big button in the centre of each side. So those patterns are on there as well. If you click on the link, you'll see that we've got those patterns available too. And the bag that I'm going to finish making up in just a second is this one, which is the boxy bag. A bit squished. So it's a little bit the same kind of design as a box-shaped cosmetic pouch that you might have made before, but it's bigger and it's got handles incorporated in it. You could, if you're a bag maker, quite easily put pockets on the inside or the outside. This one doesn't have. It's a really, really simple make. And just on the inside of this one, the lining's bound. So it's really, really simple to make. So I'll go over the first set of instructions in just a second, and then we'll make up the rest of the bag that I started making on the live channel last Sunday. Hello Sharon, hello Sylvie, how are you? Sandra's just painted our front room in that kind of grey. It's a nice colour, isn't it? It is a minty, greeny, well, they call it misty blue. It's a very nice colour. Now then, also got some new tools coming up on Tuesday. You can't get these beforehand. So I've got them all wrapped up in packages because there's quite a few bits to them. But I'll show you how these work. I like versatility. If I'm going to spend any money on anything, I want to know that it's not just a one-trick pony. I can use it for lots of different things. So this, let me just arrange that, is concentric circles. That's how it's going to come to you. I'll look at that in a second. We don't do fancy packaging because you're going to throw it away anyway. So that's how it's going to come to you. And when you take this out, you'll have a separate little 1/4 inch wheel here. And it's covered in plastic to stop it from getting scratched in postage. So peel all of that off and you'll have those, which are perfectly clear. Now the idea with these, circles are notoriously one of the most difficult shapes to draw. So here we have a 7-inch circle. So you can go 5 inches, 7 inches. So just draw around them. On the inside of there, you've got 3 inches. And on the inside of there, you've got 1 inch. But if you wanted to make those a little bit bigger, you've got a little 1-inch circle here anyway. So if you put your 7-inch down there and then use your wheel, that adds 1/2 inch all the way around, and then you've got an 8-inch circle. If you wanted 7.5 inches, we've also got the 1/4 inch seam guide, and then you've got your 7.5 inches. They have 1/4 inch markings on them. So if you wanted to make a quarter circle, so that would be a 7-inch quarter circle, then you just line up the lines on the corner of your fabric or your pattern, draw around it. If you wanted to make that an 8-inch quarter circle, then use a seam guide to go around the edge of that. So it's a really easy templates to use, but I think you're going to find them really, really useful because they are, they're circles. They're notoriously difficult to work with. So I'll give you some more details of those on Tuesday in the show. So those are going to be launching at 11 o'clock on Tuesday. Big fat tease. Thank you, Sylvie. Oh, Bev's making the boxy bag to keep her hairdryer straighteners and brushes in. Got to tweak the measurements. No, love the new tools. And then, if I flip this over, we have hearts. Sorry about the rustling if that's a little bit noisy, but I just want to keep them all together. So again, that's how it's going to come to you. We don't do fancy packaging. And you've got the concentric hearts, like so. So 1 inch, 2 inch, 5 inches, 7 inches. I've got those the wrong way around, I know. And all you're going to do with this is draw around the edge. So a plique, reverse applique, hanging heart decorations. There's so much you can do with these. So you can draw around the inside, you can draw around the outside, but still you can use your little wheel because you'll get 2 included with this as well, and you can make those bigger. So let's just have a new piece of paper and let's take the 5 inch, and then I can add an extra 1/2 inch just by using my wheel. Now when you do use these, you will kind of lose the point at the bottom. You'll keep a point at the top, but it starts to get rounder at the bottom. But if you wanted to make a bigger heart than the 7-inch heart that we have here, you can make it an 8-inch heart. Actually that's going to be 9, isn't it? If you add an 8-inch. So you add 1/2 inch all the way around, and then you've got an even bigger heart. But these little wheels are really useful for any rulers that you've got at the moment as well. So if you wanted to enlarge your hexagon acrylic shape or your 60-degree diamonds, then you can just go around the edge of any template that you have with these and add the extra to them. So that's the hearts, and again those are going to launch on Sewing Street on Tuesday at 11 o'clock. We don't have an infinite number, but we will be able to get more if they sell out. We've got a few hundred in coloured clear basket. There's at the moment, Sylv, my supplier only does the clear, but I shall ask her. I shall ask her if she can get any new colours on there. So again, that's going to be Tuesday at 11. I'm really looking forward to that. I've got loads more in my mind. You know, when you start thinking of some, there will be hexagons coming up, but there's going to be other bits and bobs like these as well, because I just think they're really useful, particularly shapes with curves. And I love hearts. I don't know about you, I love heart applique. I love heart reverse applique. As far as decoration's concerned, I think heart is my favourite. My favourite one. Anyway, where are we? We're nearly 1/2 past. We haven't even done any sewing yet. Should we get some sewing done? Hopefully towards the end of next week, Claire. At the moment, oh, hello, Zach, darling, how are you? At the moment, Sewing Street have got all of the stock, so we will need to have some more made. But yeah, hopefully towards the end of the week. Dolores, hello. Jan's got them on a Christmas list. Yvonne loves them. Oh, I'm glad you do. I'm glad you do. I find they're really useful. Right, shall we do some sewing? So, this is the box bag. And again, it's part made because I started making it on Sewing Street last Sunday. So if you want to see the beginning of it, the pattern is available. It's available in paper form or in downloadable form for £6.99. There's no templates with it. It's all measurements. So it's only a two-sided piece of A4. So it's really, really simple. So to have a look at the first part of this, if you have a look back on Sewing Street's website or Facebook or YouTube channel and go to last Sunday at 11 o'clock, we did these, and this is as far as I got. So basically, I like to use a zip that's too long for the usual reasons. I don't like to sew over the stoppers. This is actually a continuous zip, and oh, hi Christine. But I like to move the zip out of the way while I'm top stitching. So you're going to sew your top fabric, your base fabric, with your handles stuck in between. All of this is included in your instructions, all of your measurements and where to pop them and everything. So you'll sew the handle to the top section first of all. And I thought I did, Sue. I thought I did. I'll pick it up in a bit. And I've box sewn that in place. And then you'll sew the bottom fabric on. Now, in the instructions, it will give you the measurements for one piece of fabric for the base and suggest that you use non-directional. I've used a directional fabric, which is one of Kim's new fabrics. Again, they're all on the link. And I cut the fabric in half, joined it together so that you've got both pieces facing in opposite directions. So therefore, the print is printed the right way on both sides, and then cut out the size. So do that first because you're going to lose ½ inch in the seam allowance. Do that before you you actually cut out the size that's recommended. And then there's one piece of lining, so that scoops all the way through, which is the same size. And then we'll sew the outer fabric to each side of the zip and the lining fabric to the opposite side of the zip. The finished size of the bag silk is... Oh, look at that. I didn't put it on the instructions. We normally always put the finished sizes on the instructions. I shall measure it for you. Right, so 12 inches by 7.5 by 4.5. Hope that helps. Right, this one I used webbing. That's what's on the instructions, is to use a cotton webbing. This one I made the handles, so I cut to the same length as the webbing, a piece of fabric which is 4 inches wide, fold in half, fold the long edges to the center, fold in half again and press, and then sew down each side. So that's as far as I got with Sewing Street. This is also top stitched along each side here. So I'm going to refer back to my instructions just so I make sure I'm sewing this in the same order that you're going to do it. So I'm just going to sew that, close that over, and then I'm going to make 2 little tabs to go on each end of here. And let's have a look what fabric I've brought down here with me. I'm going to use the same as that. So these are measuring 3-inch square. I'll just put my iron on while we're here. So, and rotary cutter, ruler, mat. Use scissors if you prefer. And I'm just going to cut out 2 3-inch squares, so I'll do those both together. So there's my little ruler, a bigger ruler. Let's trim off the selvage. using a rather large rotary cutter, but it's the only one that I've got. Let's trim that and make it square there. And then 2 3-inch squares. You need a new blade. Okay, so let's ironing mat. I'm asking you where ironing mat is. If I can't see it, then you won't be able to see it. Here we go with the ironing mat. Blade on there, and we're just going to make 2, almost like you'd make a bias binding with or a binding with. So we'll fold these in half to mark the centre, like so, and then in half again, or long edges to the centre, and spray again. If you find your fabric doesn't crease too well, give it a squirt of best press. Help the creases stay in there. So long edges to the centre and then in half again. Same with this one, long edges to the centre and in half again. And then we'll just sew down each side. I had a lovely day yesterday, Jean, thank you very much. I was in Ipswich. We were wined and dined on Friday night with George and Jordan, and then spent all day Saturday just saying hello to people and having a chat. It was very nice. So I'm just sewing along each side of this. Just need to rethread the machine because I didn't like that very much. Let's see what happened here. It's just lovely to meet so many of you as well. We might be going to Salisbury to Franklin's at some point. Just waiting for Neil to give us a bell and sort out when. Such a long way away. Such a long way away. There, that's better. It's not starch, Fran. It's called a starchless, what do they call it? A clear starch and sizing alternative. To be honest, I've no idea what it is. It acts like starch, it stiffens. It's amazing for taking creases out of any kind of fabric, not just a quilting fabric. It's fragrant, so it smells lovely, but you don't get the white residue that starches can leave behind. But it doesn't say on the instructions what it's actually made out of. But it's lovely. It's lovely, and they do lots of different fragrances as well. I like the tea rose. That's my favourite one. What's your favourite one? Jean can't wait for a machine to arrive. Did you buy one from us, Jean? That will probably be going out tomorrow then. I think it was Friday, wasn't it, that you ordered? Okay, let's have a look at this. Not at the moment, Jean. I don't have any plans for Chelmsford. Just wait to be asked. Let's snip the end of the zip off and this end of the zip off. And my little tabs are going to go facing inwards over the end of the zip. Now I'm just going to get a, whoops, that's my ruler on the floor. I'm just going to get a glue pen just to hold that in place on the open end. So just right on the end. Let's glue this in off as well. And facing inwards. I'm going to put in a little bit of glue on there so I can hold the zip closed as I'm sewing it. So open that zip up a little bit more. Only sewing through the outer bit, you know, I've got, and well, obviously the lining, but not the back of the bag. So make sure that's right out of the way. And just sew within the seam allowance, so quite close to the edge of that one. And then we'll do the same on this side. So fold over the end of the zip, and it just gives you something to grab hold of when you're opening the zip and closing it. And it looks nice, it looks professional, doesn't it, when you add bits and bobs like this. Right, so we have this. So, I'm going to re-sew that. Wasn't quite close enough. These things happen. You need to make sure that the zip is actually closed behind it. It must have moved just a little bit as I was sewing. I want the zip closed. That's it. Right, and then we'll turn this back inside out again. I'm not actually going to sew the binding on here because that's going to take quite a while, and I would like to make it one of these storage tubs as well. But this is the bit that I think if you're going to find complicated, you would find complicated. So this is the bit that I'm going to show you how to do. So we turn it all completely inside out. I want to make sure that the lining, the raw edge of the lining matches the raw edge of the outer fabric. So just, you know, fiddle around with that until it's the same. And the same on this side. That zip is still, look at that, it's still open. There. Now I'm going to sew that again. Bear with me a second. I need the end of that zip to be closed as we put this together. And it's having an argument. It's not conforming. I'm having none of that. Oh, foot pedals on a go slow. There. Okay, the boxy bag pattern, Erica, is on Sewing Street. If you scroll back up a little bit, then you'll see a post from Sewing Street with a link to everything that I'm showing you now. Not the new panels from Tuesday, but everything that I'm showing you with these panels, the fabrics and the patterns that I'm using as well. Now then, I want to make sure that this zip is in the center of this bit now. So you could do it by eye, but you need to be accurate with this. So that's 12 inches across now. So I want to put the zip at the 6-inch point in the center. And again, make sure that these raw edges are matching. Right, because we're going to cut those corners out in a second. So just pop a couple of clips in here just to hold that in place. There you go. And again, these edges all matching up would be rather helpful. And then we'll need to do the same on the other side. And running out of clay. I've got all sorts of things in these baskets. I don't know about you. And then the same on this side. So let's measure here. So the zip now at the 6-inch point. So that's right in the center. Match at the edges. You can pin, you can clip, just keep those all together. And these bits. And all of these measurements and everything are in the instructions. It is actually quite a simple bag. And when you've done the technique once, you can probably figure out how to make it larger or smaller or longer, or, you know, adapt it to the size that you want it to be. Okay, so we've got this. And then we're going to cut out the corners. So keeping all of this nice and flat. Let's measure and mark. I say measure and mark. Oh, there we go. And I'm just double checking. I think it's 3 inches. Yeah, 3 inches from each corner. So all of this needs to be really, really flat. And your 3 inches is from the fold here and the seam allowance here. So when this is sewn together, you'll have a perfect 3-inch square. And we'll do that in each corner. So pull this out so it's nice and flat. 3 1/4 inch from there. And pop that there. 3-inch box there. And again, finally here. Oh, Joyce is going to bag making classes on Wednesday. That's a nice idea. Magnetic sheets inside the tub baggers to control. But that, oh, Fran, I love that idea. Must try and get a hold of some magnetic sheets. That is a fantastic idea to control pins. Maybe not in the tubs because they're quite big. But wouldn't it be nice to make a pin cushion with magnetic? Yeah, do they do those on Stone Street? National Enquirer. Anyway, right. Okay, so let's snip off the corners. And try and keep everything nice and square. Like so. Get yourself a good pair of scissors for doing this. Really makes a difference. You know, sometimes when you're cutting with scissors and you're just cutting on that bit because that's the only bit that's actually sharp, get yourself a pair that are sharp right up to the point. It makes life so much easier when you can cut right up to that point and be really accurate. Right, and again, I'm not going to bind this now, okay? I think I might have done this earlier actually, but I'm going to sew. I think I did. I think I sewed these on the instructions before I cut out. Going to sew down the ends here with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So let's line that up there, pop that in there, and sew. And again, just make sure that you're sewing through all layers. Take your time over the zip. Doesn't really matter. You could sew this bit before you cut the corners out. You could sew it now. It doesn't really matter as long as this gets sewn first, because this is the first place that we're going to put the binding on. This is where I'm going to put a new needle in the machine. I was asked about sewing over zips. I think it was on Sewing Street last week. Always make sure that you find the pointy end of the needle. You don't want that being left in your work. Yeah, I think I was asked that on Sewing Street last week. Do you ever break a needle when you sew over zips? And I said it's happened once. It's only ever happened once, and it happened to be on a live stream. It's happened twice now on a live stream. Crazy. Yeah, I normally go a little bit slower when I sew over zips, just in case. Right. And I know I've got spare needles because I did all of this the other day, didn't I, if you were watching? Oh, and I put them in here. There we go. Oh, Fran's got a Fiskars special edition. Ooh. Ooh. Your grab scissors for paper and fabric. There's nothing better than a nice pair of scissors, is there? Worth the investment to get yourself a decent pair of scissors. That in there. Tool shops have small magnetic cups for screws and such. That's a nice idea. Great for pins. I'll have a look at that. That'd be a nice half-yard club project, that one. I like that idea. Right, so I'm just rethreading, then we'll carry on. Okay. So again, just sewing across those straight bits and carefully over the zip. There we go. Now at this point you're going to bind. So you'll take your binding. It doesn't have to be bias binding. I think I used shop bought binding. And put a strip of binding across the edge of here. You can leave the raw edges open. You don't worry about tucking those in or anything. And you'll put a piece of binding across the edge of there. Then we're going to open up these corners and sew straight across. Now I've said a 1/4 inch seam allowance. If that happens to be a little tiny bit bigger or a little tiny bit narrower, it's not really going to make any difference. So this, as long as it's the same on each corner, because these seams are actually going to form the shape of your bag. So straight over the bit in the centre that you've already bound. And we'll do this on all 4 sides. Oh, thank you, Vida. She's new to the lives. Hopefully you're going to see more. I like a live stream. You know, it's nice making videos and things, but then you spend most of your life just talking to a lens and a camera. And I think it's quite nice to have the feedback. And with the live streams like this on Facebook and hopefully on YouTube at some point again, on the YouTube, Sewing Street YouTube channel, it's nice because we've got more time. I'm not restricted to an hour or to when things sell out. We can stay here all afternoon if we want to. But we can actually stay until the project's finished. And there's more time to chat to you, to answer questions, because I can see comments coming up on Facebook and on YouTube at the same time. If I miss anybody, I do apologise. I'm not ignoring you. It's just that I've got 2 screens, one for YouTube, one for Facebook, and comments tend to come up like this, so I might miss them. Rita, I nearly missed you. What's it like in New York today? Oh, that's right, Andrew. Thank you for signing me book. That's an absolute pleasure. Managed to get it back again. It was just going out in the post. So stop that one going. Oh, I don't know, Rob. Why Quilting Antics wasn't on this morning. I don't know. I'll drop Anthony an email and ask her if you like. Well, later, not now. We'll find out. So then we've boxed all 4 corners. So you've already put your binding across the end pieces. So then the binding on these, you do need to tuck the ends of them under to make that neat. Now, just a tip. When you're sewing the binding on, don't sew beyond this line, because like I said, that is now the shape of the bag. So if you're going to increase that seam allowance with your binding, you're going to change the shape of the bag. So when you put your binding on, you can either machine sew just inside the stitch line, wrap it over, and then hand sew, or machine sew, or you can fold the whole thing in half, but just make sure that you don't go beyond that line there. Oh, Brenda, I hope that's just explained. She said, would you machine sew or hand sew your binding? To be honest, I love hand sewing. I love hand sewing binding. I find it really therapeutic. I love it and so satisfying. I really enjoy it. So it depends how much time I've got. On a bag like this, I did machine sew the one that I finished here. So that was the bit that went straight across first of all, and I just literally folded this in half and then machine sewed it. If you use the same fabric as your lining, it's actually very forgiving, because when you look inside the bag, it doesn't leap out at you. If you wanted to use a contrast fabric, that's absolutely fine. I like to use the same colour so it becomes more invisible. And because this is a bag that I'm going to use, I don't mind if my stitching isn't absolutely perfect. It's done the job, it's hidden the seams, it looks nice, that's as much as anybody's going to see. I think if I was going to sew this or make this to sell, because you can, or make it as a gift, I think I might hand sew it, because I find I'm more accurate. I get a much better finish when I hand sew. But if it's for you and it's speed, and you know, or you're just very good at sewing binding like that, then yes, do feel free to machine sew. So then when we've bound the edges here, the bag's done. That's that. So let's pop that out there and pop that out there. And that is another little bag finish. Now, pressing wise, because it does need a press, and it does make all the difference when you've pressed it. It looks so much nicer. But with my bag here, if I just say that because that is pressed, I find it easy, instead of pressing flat, because even if I press the base flat, I'm going to squish the sides in. So what I like to do is to steam it. And while it's still damp, obviously don't burn yourself, pinch the edges, and pinch the edges all the way around the bottom. But I didn't, and the sides, I didn't do that on the top, because I actually like the dome shape. If you want to make that a proper box, then steam it and pinch it. Give it a spray of Best Press if you like, steam it and pinch it. But I like the way that that's domed a little bit. But I'll leave that up to you. Oh, and a final little touch. I put an 1/8 of an inch wide ribbon just through the zip pull. Gives you something else to kind of to pull on. And those, if you buy a garment and it's got the ribbons on the inside, that always show, so you cut them off and throw them away. Don't cut them off because they're perfect to put on zip tabs like that. Oh, Fran's hand sewing a Santa hat for yourself, the Santa. Oh, thank you, Christian. It is actually a very simple bag. It's a nice size. It's a useful size. It's nice for storage as well. But to make up, it is actually very simple, as you've seen. So that, again, the first half of making that up when I put the zip in was on Sewing Street last Sunday. I can't remember the date, at 11 o'clock. And that was kind of making up the rest of it. And I did rush it through a little bit because I also want to make up one of the storage tubs. I think I talk too much. I've got plans to actually finish all of these and within an hour. And it's 1 to 2. Anyway, oh, hi, Cherry. The lining matches my... It does, you're right. Huh. I do like to colour coordinate my clothing with my projects. Karen loves the bag and currently reorganising and moving and furnishing the sewing room. Nice. I'm glad you like it, Zach. Thank you very much. Fran's adapting the Halloween now. Oh, what are you adapting it to? Oh, to a Santa. Oh, fantastic, Fran. Oh, lovely. I love a gnome. Sandra's getting back into knitting. Doing a scarf for my grandson. Do you know, I used to knit when my eldest was little. He's 44. But I'd get bored with it. So everything that he wore had lots of stripes because I thought, oh, I'll change colour. Oh, I'll change colour. So yes, he was very much a Dennis the Menace kind of kid with lots of stripy jumpers. Where are you, Nell? Waking up and it's midnight. Jennifer's got a box of those. They're really useful, those little ribbons for zips. I think that's all I use that size for, but they're really useful. Oh, a perfect for a knitting bag. Yes, absolutely. Right, I've already cut this out. I need to give that a quick press. Let's give it a press because it's been folded. So with the panel, the instructions are included with it, and there are 3 storage tubs on the panel. And I've used, so you could use something firmer, like I said earlier, like a bosal. I would cut it away from the seams, but the top of these folds over. You might not be able to do that with a bosal, but there again, you don't have to fold the top over. You could have it as a deeper tub. The panels also have, let me show you the panel again. It's this one. You also have labels, so you don't have to use the labels. I didn't on mine, but you could cut out the panel with something like Bonder web on the back of it, and then I'd go right in the middle, so the seams at the back, and put a label on there, and then use a fabric marker pen and put what's in the tub if you wanted to. If not, then you've just got a load of extra labels, because I don't like to sell you blank spaces. So if you've got some white space, it's just nice to put something in there to fill the gaps. So I'm using the largest one here. Now I'm going to sew the lining together first, because I think that's going to be the easiest way to show you how to do the base. So the first thing we're going to do is to sew this long piece, raw edges together, right sides together. And again, it's a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then, right opposite where that seam is, I'm going to crease that. And just so that you can see what I've done, open this up. Let's draw. Oh, of course, Nelly in Australia. Why did I forget that? Midnight in Australia. I'm just going to draw a line. So that's at the halfway point right opposite here. Then draw those 2 pieces together. So the seam is against that, and crease the sides here. So I'm marking basically quarter points. I know, I didn't leave a turning gap. So that's the quarter points there. So as you're sewing down the seam, you need to leave a turning gap. So this is where your quick and pick comes in handy, which of course I can't find. Oh, there it is. Because I never use it. This, I think, is the best, most ingenious tool for sewing that's ever been invented. Not something you want to use a lot, but when you need it, I'll just make a little gap in the side there. Open that up. I can knit. Don't particularly enjoy it. I can knit. Can't crochet for the life of me. I've had so many people try and teach me. The penny does not drop as far as crochet is concerned. Okay. Christine's unpickers in constant use. Leslie made a tote bag for a daughter-in-law's birthday using granny square canvas. Oh, nice. I couldn't decide which side I liked, so I did opposite sides of the bag. That's a lovely idea. Use both of them. There's no right and wrong, is there? Okay, so that I've marked the quarter points. So just on the lining, turning gap in the straight bit. And then let's take the base. And again, I'm going to fold this in half and we'll mark the same quarter points. This may seem a little bit time consuming. Don't skip this step, because if you start sewing without matching these points, there's a chance, because when you think about it, most of this circle is cut on the bias. There's a chance that that can stretch. And when you come all the way back to the beginning, one of them is going to be a little bit bigger than the other. If you match up the quarter points like this, then if there is any ease, so again, if you need to, I'm just getting my pin cushion. If you need to make this fit, it's only a tiny little bit that you have to maneuver it. So this is actually really important whenever you're making a circular base. So let's match the quarter points. And then we'll sew it in place. And you know, it's worth it. Sewing should never be a rush, should it? It's a hobby, it's a pastime, it's relaxing. It's something to, that's a big pin. It's something to enjoy. Sometimes I get quite disappointed when a project's finished because I just want to start sewing all over again. I'm not fussed about seams being pressed open on something like this. You can do if you want to. Oh, a charm on the zip pull, Gillian, is a lovely idea. And let's match that point up there. Sandra BP, can't remember how to crochet. I learn over and over again, but it doesn't stay in my brain. No, it makes sense when it's explained, but putting it into practice just doesn't work for me. I don't know why. Don't know why. Okay. Really take your time when you're doing this. If you're not used to sewing circular bases, let's get that needle down. Oh, not in that position. We're not. I seem to be doing a blanket stitch. Needle down there. And then again, this will fit perfectly. Line up the edges as you're sewing. If it doesn't fit perfectly, ease it so you can pull this very slightly to make it fit. And this is where I'm saying this is really important to match up those quarter points, because if you leave this until you get to the edge, you'll have lots of wrinkles. And try and keep the seam allowance uniform, because just like I was saying with the shape of the boxy bag, this is the shape of the base of your bag. This is why we're doing the lining first, because if you do get a little bit of a wobble, it's on the lining. It doesn't matter too much. So this is almost like your practice if you haven't sewn a circular base in before, just to make sure that you're comfortable with it and it fits and you get it right. And then we're going to do exactly the same on the outer piece. Never sew over pins, but be a little bit more careful. So can you actually see what I'm doing there? Am I fingers and thumbs all in the way? Matching up the edges. I'm not worried about this lot here. Just like when we're making bags or quilts or anything, follow, oh, I've got something under my foot pedal. Follow where the needle's going in, where the foot's going over your fabric. As long as that's flat, this can bunch up and get big and get pushed out the way and get creased up. This is the most important, but where we're actually sewing the seam. Right, almost done. So again, just keep lining up the edges. You'll have more time without lots of people watching you when you're doing this at home. And as for the fabric going underneath the foot, I'm watching the foot here. I'm not watching the needle. I'm watching at the point that the fabric goes under the foot and keeping that nice and straight and consistent. Always stop with the needle down if you stop, so that you know that you're carrying on sewing along the same stitch line. And that's back to the beginning. So that's the base now sewn in. Then we'll do exactly the same with the outer fabric. Little sewing wheel. Oh, I'm fine. How are you? You're right. Leslie says, started teaching my granddaughter to crochet, just chain at the moment. Yeah, come and teach me, Leslie. Mind you, like I've got time to crochet. So we're sewing the two long ends together into a tube. And yeah, there's bound to be stuff on YouTube, Christine, isn't there? Everything's on YouTube. My husband fitted underfloor heating to the kitchen following a YouTube tutorial. I didn't learn anything there. So that's sewn together into the tube again. Just like before, we're going to mark the quarter points. So let's go here. Open this out. Tidy up a little bit. So the mark matches that seam, and mark the corners. Corners, it's a circle. Mark the quarters here and here. And then we'll do the same on the base. So I am marking, obviously, instead of creasing, because this part's got the fleece on it, so it's not going to crease very easily. So let's just mark inside here. And inside here. Should we see how many people are watching? Should we do that? Just out of interest. Battery gone on mouse. Who have we got here? 262 on YouTube and 97 on Facebook. Gosh, lots of you. Oh, thank you. Thank you for joining us today. I've just moved everybody out the way then. You wanted to make, oh, you've gone. Oh, you're back. So you wanted to make a pattern. So if you could see my screen, I've just got images going all over the place. It's quite funny. If you wanted to make a pattern with a round base, how much would you measure the sides to match the circle? Do you remember pi from your school days? 3.142. So if you have a circle that measures 7 inches across, your fabric to go around it will be approximately 21 inches, just over 21 inches. So times the diameter by 3.142, and that will give you the length of the fabric that you need to go around it. I round it up or round it down. So, I mean, 3.142 times 7 is just over 21. I go down to 21. So, plus a seam allowance. So add an extra ½ inch to the circumference, because you've got a seam allowance there. So your finished size of the circumference of the tube is exactly the same size as the finished size of the circle. See, always a school day, not always a maths day. Derek's watching at the piano while the kids rehearse the panto. Oh, what panto are you doing, Derek? I was in, I've only ever been in one panto. I was in Aladdin many, many moons ago at Camberley Civic Hall. Hello, Rona, how are you today? So just like I did with the lining, I'm just matching up those 4 points for the corners, for the quarters. No corners on the circle. Put that in there. So what else you got planned for a Sunday afternoon? I've got some work to do. I've got some instructions to write up for the next half yard club project. I'll get that done today. And then Gary's actually been out and bought me the Sunday papers. I don't do that very often. I thought, seeing as I've been away all weekend and working this morning, Fran says, oh heck, I just learned how to do pie for an exam. Oh really, Fran? We've had this conversation before and I never actually got to the bottom of it, about algebra and algorithms and all of the things that you spend so long learning at school, and then I'm sure by the time I was 18 I'd forgotten everything. Remembered pi because that's useful for this, but the rule of thumb, I can't find out. I tried Googling it after our last conversation. I cannot find out what the rule of thumb was. I know you put your thumb over something, but I don't know what. But that was in one of our maths lessons. We used the rule of thumb. Oh, I'm going back a couple of 100 years here, you know. So, and the other one was the logarithm book. What did we use it for? I remember using it, but I can't remember why. Why didn't I? Can't remember. Can't remember. Anyway, Leslie's in Panto again this year in Beauty and the Beast. She's not the Beast. Up to joint equals 1 inch. I don't know. Nell's recovering from a birthday today with the grandkids. Oh, how lovely. Well, not necessarily recovering, but being with the grandkids is a nice way to spend some time. The rule of thumb was just the same. Oh, hello, Kim. Oh, I don't know. No, I'm sure there was some math where you put your thumb over the number card. Can't remember a lot of things these days. Just like before, we're going to sew the base in, matching the edges of the seams. It is a perfect fit. Gosh, excuse me. If it doesn't ease it, make it fit. It will fit. Sandra BP's already been to work, so my afternoon is my own. Knitting, sewing, baking. Back to work tomorrow. Oh, Rhonda, I'm glad you like it. Thank you. Moore's law. Thumb is approximately 2.5 centimetres. We didn't do centimetres when I was younger. Logbooks for massive numbers. And I got calculator. Yeah, never did get pi at school. So I should have been a maths teacher, Christine. Not if I can't remember the rule of thumb and what a logarithm's for. Probably not a good maths teacher at all, really. Latin. I spent 2 years doing Latin. I can remember half a dozen. What's Latin about? Who speaks Latin these days apart from Gardener's World? What a waste of time learning. Like Spanish would have been better or something. Latin? Labor omnia, Winky. Going for a walk and making Christmas cards, is Anne. Oh, lovely, making your own Christmas card. Do you know, I can't remember the last time I sent a Christmas card. I'm trying to work out an illusion bar yellow quilt pattern. Oh, it's an old one from Sewing Quarter and can't find it on YouTube. Oh, Maureen, it must be there somewhere. Remember whose it was, who the designer was. Maybe you could get in touch with them. Can't have been worse than my maths teacher. If you asked him a question, he said, work it out. Oh. Did you ever get awkward questions from the kids when they were little and say, oh, ask your teacher? Ask your teacher. Builders use their thumb to estimate sizes. Little sizes. Little sizes. Rita says, oh, Rita's talking to Paula. Right, so again, we're just sewing around the edge. This starts to get a bit bulky. Let's move that out of the way. And this is the one where I'm saying this does form the shape of the bag. So try and keep the stitch line nice and even distance from the edge. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's a storage tub. It's not couture, you're not going to wear it, you won't be on the red carpet. You know, it's a storage tub. So just nearly there actually, we're nearly there. And back to the beginning. Now then, my maths teacher was fixated on cricket. Let's turn this the right side out. Because at this point, oh hi Tony. Rule of thumb originally was a measurement used to measure text. So was it? Is that Irene or is it Tony? this point, I can have a look around here. I'm pushing the seam out with my finger, and just make sure that's nice and neat and round. See that? I've got a little pointy bit. I don't like that. So now I can sew back over just that little bit. So just check it, and if you're not entirely happy, I'm just hanging on to that bit. If you're not entirely happy with it, you see I just did a little dent there in the stitches, then you can go back over. But like I said, it's a tiny little dent. Don't have to be a perfectionist. I'm just smoothing that out a little bit. Oh, Rhonda, you're not intruding on my time. I'm here all day if I want to be. That will do. Leslie used to teach computing, but would cover maths class amongst others. I had to read up the lesson before teaching. Yeah, I can imagine. Right, so now I'm smoothing that out, and I'm very happy with the shape of the base. Just like I did with the box bag, when I finished, I'd steam that and pinch it, just to make that a little bit crisper. Right. Oh, Yvonne's off to church. See you later then, Yvonne. Thank you for joining us today. Do you paint the digital scale of the tree in the kind of thing? Is that what the rule of thumb was? Right. So now the lining is inside out, the outer is the right side out. So we're going to pop these together, right sides together, and just line up the seam at the back. I'm glad you like the fabric, Mari. It's a panel. The link is in the description box underneath the video, which will take you straight to Sewing Street, to my page, where you can see everything that I have for you on there. And remember, all of the new stuff, all of these panels at the back, those are going to be on Tuesday. We've got 2 shows on Tuesday, so those are going to be the 11 o'clock in the morning show. And no, they're not. They're 9 o'clock in the morning for the panels. And then at 11 o'clock, that's when those new tools are going to be on. We've still got, oh, so I'm just going to sew around the top. We've still got the box bases and the corner curvers, but those 2 new tools, the circle and the heart, are both going to be on at 11 o'clock on Tuesday morning. I think the flowers are multi-directional. Yes, Maury, if you have a look at this video back again later, I've got some new tools I showed you right at the beginning of this video, which was an awful long time ago, because it's quarter past 2 now, look. Okay, so just line these up and sew around the top. Tell you what would be quite nice, as this folds over, as you can see, that's what I'm making behind me. As it folds over, to maybe put some trim on there. Pom-pom trim or rick-rack or ribbon or something like that might be quite nice. And do you know, I think I'd glue that on. I'd use some of my HT2 glue and glue trim around the top, because I very much doubt these are going to go into the wash, so I have no qualms about adding a little bit of decoration with glue if you wanted to. Okay, almost done. Back to the beginning. And right, thank you, Sarah. Let's open this up and pull this the right side out. Move that out of the way before I spike myself on a pin. Put the kettle on if you like. There we go, there it comes. Oh, well, you know, in a minute, it'll be there, it'll be there. Oh, they are going downwards. Well, there's a thing. I didn't even realise it was directional, but I don't think that matters at all, does it really? Right. And then let's pop that on that. So when you cut it out, have a look at your panel and see which way up it's going to be. And we'll sew the turning gap closed. Leather storage baskets will end up with more things to store in. I used some generic fabric glue and it was rubbish. I like HT2 glue. I don't use any other actually, and of course I haven't got any here with me. It's oh, there you go. It's glutamate HT2. It's really, really strong. It's clear. It's really strong. So if you're gluing into a bag frame or something like that, and you don't want the fabric to come out, then this is the one that I use. Do put your top on it all the time because it does tend to spill, and it dries really, really hard. So if you are using it on fabrics, don't use it over a seam where you're going to sew through, because that could actually break your needle when it dries. It's really, really tough. But I use it all the time. I will use it behind toy eyes. I know, they're safety eyes and everything, but I'll put a spot of glue behind it. Or if I'm using buttons for eyes on toys or decorations and things like that, I'll put a spot of glue behind it. If I'm adding bag handles, for instance, with this bag, I don't think I put it in the instructions, but before I sewed the handles on, I put a little bit of glue down the centre, and that just gives it a really, really strong seam. You'll find with your HT2 that if you try and take this apart, the fabric will tear before the glue comes undone. It's really strong, so that's the one that I use. Right, let's just give this a press around the top, and then we're just about done. But yeah, if I'm gluing trim on HT2, if I'm putting trim onto any kind of upholstery, loved in upholstery, so around a stool or a chair or anything, HT2, it's my go-to glue, is my HT2. There you go. I'm wrapping now. Right, I'm doing a ditty as we speak. Jewellery cement is useful. Oh right, I've not used that before, Fran, thank you. That may be something to try. I'm always open to new suggestions, just because I only use that at the moment doesn't say that it's the be all and end all. Have I ever made one of those round baskets that's more snap of pod? Or the shape of a pod? No, I haven't actually. I think there are patterns out there, aren't there? I know Pat, one of my teams, made an awful lot of them, but I can't remember where she got the pattern from. But no, I haven't made one of those. Right, so around the bottom here, I'm going to give that a quick spray because I haven't got any steam in my iron, and then hold the heat over there and just pinch it into shape. I know I haven't got steam in my iron because I left it sat on its side and all the water poured out. I had quite a puddle down here this morning. So I can just pinch that. There's no way you can do this without flattening the bag, so this is just the easiest way to do it. So a little bit of heat, a little bit of a pinch. And just go all the way around. On the top, I'm going to top stitch that as well. Gosh, excuse me, a bit of a cough. Just to hold the lining in place, I'll remove my accessory compartment while we're doing this. And I'm just going to sew close to the edge. Now I can lengthen the stitch now because that's not a seam, and sew very close. And then fold the top over. Again, they're designed with the top being folded over. That's why the linings are non-directional on these. But you don't have to fold the top over if you find it more useful to have it larger. Then you can leave it just like that. Depends what you're going to use it for. Let's just snip this off. Got a bit of a nest going on there. And pop that back on there before I forget. And then just pop the top over. It gives it a little bit of rigidity around the top as well when you do it this way. Nice and even. You can repress that again if you wanted to. And that isn't even. That's my little tub finished. And again, you've got two. This is the larger size. There are two of the smaller sizes there as well, all on the one panel. Now, if you love the tub idea, but you like the, what have I done with it? The new panels, the log cabin panels, there will be tubs on Tuesday in this fabric, oh, excuse me, as well. So I haven't got any here, but they have made tubs out of this fabric as well. So they're exactly with the same instructions, they're exactly the same size. They've got the labels and everything like that, but they are, I think they're, can't remember which colour. But they will be available again. That's on Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock if you wanted to do that. Oh, Christine's dinner's ready. Oh, look, go and enjoy your dinner, won't you? Just on thread and mirror. Oh, I think we've done that one, Fran, haven't we? I'm a bit behind with Facebook. Right. So, well, I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you find it useful, actually, if you've already bought either the box bag instructions or the panel, the tub panel. And I know big fat tease as to what's coming up on Tuesday, but I'm looking forward to being on Sewing Street on Tuesday. That will be at 9 o'clock in the morning and at 11 o'clock as well. So if you wanted to buy any of the patterns or the panels or even Kim's fabric that we've shown you today, then the link is in one of the very first comments on Facebook, or it's on the description box underneath the video on my YouTube channel if you're watching over there as well. So thank you for joining me today. I haven't got any more of these planned in at the moment. If you would like to see more, then leave a comment, because I'm sure Sewing Street will take notice of that. But hopefully we'll oh, hi Linda, just in time. Hopefully there will be more. Otherwise I shall see you Sewing Street on Tuesday. And it's Craftleys. Yes, Sandra, I've used Craftleys for that one. My YouTube and Facebook channel on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Yeah, so just this Tuesday for November, and then I'm on Sewing Street on Christmas Eve this time as well. I don't know what we're doing then. That's a long time away, isn't it? 6 weeks? 6 weeks Christmas. And we've got to go all squeaky. Oh, Linda's going to tune in on Tuesday for the new templates, if nothing else. Thank you. I shall see you then. Yes, lace would be lovely, Gillian. Jean loves the YouTubes. Oh, good. I'm glad you do. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Right. I shall see you again very soon. Hopefully you found this useful and had a nice time for the last hour and a half or so. And I shall see you again soon. Bye-bye.